Good morning. Happy Monday. Well, it's a little overcast Monday here today. And as I was trying to figure out what I was going to talk about, something interesting came up in my meditation. And I'm going to share it with you. I want to tell you the story of my friend Jerry. Jerry, his real name is Algery Pabon. And in 1991, I left college to become a studio guide at Universal Studios Florida, which doesn't even exist anymore. They don't even have studio guides because really there was nothing to show, a bunch of empty sound stages at the time. But still, I was a studio guide, and Jerry was a studio guide with me. Now, the thing that struck me when I first met Jerry was how bold and beautiful and just boisterous and laughing, and he was very handsome, this personality beyond belief. Everybody just fell instantly in love with Jerry, including myself. And of course, Jerry was gay as a day in May. So um, we became bosom buddies. We were like great friends. And we kind of had our little guide clique of friends too that yeah, actually all of us studio guides were pretty cliquey at the time. Because it was just our personalities meshed so well together. We had such a good time together being guides. And eventually, Jerry and I ended up being roommates. And we were roommates for several years. And oh my gosh, the times we had together. I'm telling you what, uh, from things like I was dating a guy at the time, and I invited him over to watch a movie. I'm on the couch, the guy's sitting on the uh, floor, and Jerry's next to him. And then Jerry tells me, "Oh, yeah, Kelly, by the way, your boyfriend is gay." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, he tried to hold my hand while we were watching movies." So I was like, "Oh, well, that's convenient." Fortunately, it's not the first time I dated a gay guy. And so, but anyway, so I never thought I would have competition for with Jerry, but turns out I did. We were great friends though. He ended up we would like when we moved to this other apartment, we lived right on a retention pond, and we would go outside with our bonding candle. We called it our bonding candle with a box of wine and cigarettes. And well, he didn't smoke, I did, but I would sit and smoke and drink the box from the box of wine, and we would just wait for our hot neighbor to finish off his nightly jog so we could both goggle at him and then talk about him some more. But we used to have so much fun in these bonding candle sessions, and we really just got to know each other so well, and became such great friends. And throughout our friendship, there were some amazing times, like the time he was a VIP guide, and he got to take around the village people, and the Indian took a liking to Jerry because, like I said, Jerry was very very handsome guy. However, to my dismay, Jerry did not reciprocate in the mutual feelings of love. So my dreams of being a bridesmaid at the Indians and Jerry's wedding were dashed. However, I did get a feather that I still treasure from the Indian, from the village people. I have it somewhere. Um, but anyway, uh, he's just the kind of guy he was. He was just fun. He was so fun. Now there was also this dark side to Jerry too, that would emerge every now and then. And I remember one night we came home, and something had happened. Something had happened where one of our friends really got pushed a button in Jerry that I'd never seen push. And Jerry flew into a blind rage to the point where I thought he might kill this guy. And for the guys, I get the hell out of here quick. And just we had to do what we could do to restrain Jerry. And then after that rage session, he came in and he just broke down crying. He's like, "Oh my God." He goes, it took over. I couldn't control it. The blind rage. There really is such a thing as a blind rage. And I saw that little bit of blind rage emerge. And I was like, wow, that's amazing that somebody's so happy and so always so positive could have just such a deep underlying personality flaw that would emerge like that. But thankfully, it didn't emerge often. Now, us being the good friends that we are, we eventually ended up getting another roommate, David. And David and I and Gieri became very good friends. Gieri ended up getting like a boyfriend, and David and I grew closer than Gieri. Uh, and then at that point, Gieri and I had just been living together way too long, and we got in a fight over something. I don't even know what we got in a fight over, but I ended up, I'm taking my stuff and I'm moving out. And I packed up my bags and I just moved out. And then me and Gieri got in this huge fight. And eventually, I don't even know what the fight was about, but eventually we ended up making up because love is stronger than hate. And we both kind of missed each other so much that eventually one of us gave in and said, I'm sorry, I miss you, I love you. And we became friends again. And we remained friends for throughout my life. I moved to California, so we kept in touch. We were constantly in touch with each other, and I loved him. And he, one day, maybe it's a few years ago, all of a sudden I get a phone call, a text while I'm at work, and I look down and it said something about, it's one of those ones you dread that you see. It's like, I think it was from Brian, my friend Brian Asbeck, who said, did you hear about Gieri? And immediately the thought is, oh no, what the hell? And I go and look and find out that Gieri had taken his own life. And I was so devastating, and it was such a shock. And it didn't make any sense to me. I knew he might have been going through some rough times. However, I never dreamed they were as bad as taking his own life. And all I could figure at the time was that same blind rage that I had witnessed so many years ago overtook him to the point where he decided to take his life. I was hoping that maybe there was a chance it wasn't true. But talking to some of his other friends, they said that he'd lost a lot of friends in the end, and he felt betrayed somehow, and just saw no way out, and became hopeless, and decided to end his life. And so, I share this with you because this is a time right now where people are going through a lot, and especially addicts and alcoholics. There can be that hopeless aspect of the disease where you feel, and it doesn't even need to be the disease, it could be anybody, where you feel hopeless, like the pain is never going to end, and there's no way out. And I will tell you that's not the case. It will end. I will share with you that after my friend Amy died in college, I was in excruciating pain, and I just wanted the pain to end because I didn't see a way out. And one night, while drunk, I just decided I was going to keep walking across the road, this busy intersection at 2 a.m. in the morning. If I made it across, then good. If I didn't, then that's how it was supposed to be. And by the grace of God, I made it across. And my friend Jenny was there, and she witnessed, and she said, Kelly, you came so close. You don't even know how close you came. And I just, at the time, I remember just wanting the pain to end. It was such a excruciating, painful time in my life that I just wanted it to be over with. And I didn't know what else to do. And I look back at that time and I say, oh God, thank God. Thank God I made it across the street safe and sound. Thank God I made it. I mean, the wake of somebody committing suicide is a veil of tears around. If people could see how much they were loved when they were alive, they would have never have done it. If they would see how the effect it had on their loved ones, they would have never made the decision to do what they did. I was told suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And that's important to remember. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. It won't always be like this. Um, I say there was a moth that had gotten in our house, and I said, the moth's in the house. He'll find his way out. Well, eventually, he made his way into my son's room, and he just kept going towards the light, going towards the light, going towards the light. But he could never get out. And I was like, oh my God, this moth is just going to die in here. And I said, I'm just going to take him, and I'm going to put him in a cup, and I'm going to take him outside to where he wants to be in the real light. And so I grabbed the cup, got the moth, and took him. And the moth was fluttering around, scared to death in this cup as I walked. And I remember thinking, oh my God, if he could only see how much life is going to get so much better for him while he's fluttering around in this cup, and he can see that I'm going to set him free into this much bigger, broader, better world, he would just sit there not worried about it. But this moth was fighting all the step of the way until I got outside, and it spread its wings and flew, And so, I share this in my speech, my keynote speech is, when you're trapped in the dark, seek the light. When you're trapped in the dark, seek the light, whatever that light may be, and don't let it be the false light of addiction, because that's not going to lead you anywhere, to death. And, trust that God's going to take you in his loving hands and bring you, even though it's a scary time and it's dark and it's scary and you don't know where you're going, God will lead you to that light where you need to go. That doesn't mean you don't meet him halfway. If you are suffering from depression, get help. There's tons of help out there. If you are grieving the loss of a loved one, get help. There's lots of help out there. If you feel like there's just no way I'll make it through, this addiction, there you will. You can. I've done it. I've been there. I know that breaking point of where you're like, you're too afraid to live, but you're not brave enough. You're too afraid to live because you don't know how to live. And you need to know that you can have a normal, happy life. Today, I have a husband. I have a wonderful son, a beautiful golden doodle. And I have this amazing life where I get to help people, and I get to share this message of hope to help and heal today. So if you know somebody who might be thinking about committing suicide, or if you yourself are thinking about committing suicide, don't do it. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Temporary problem. Things will get better. When you're trapped in the dark, seek the light. So I'm going to end with this. Is suicide hotline number is 800-273-8255. I'll say it one more time. 800-273-8255. If you're in a place where you need help, give them a call. That's your first step to seeking the light today. This was an important Monday message for me, and I wanted to do tribute to my friend Gieri and possibly anybody out there who's suffering. It will get better. I promise you. It will get better as long as you don't seek permanent darkness, which is suicide. Seek the light, which is God, and you'll find your way out in God's loving hands. All right. Well, that's this week's Monday message. If you're liking these, go ahead and subscribe, and we'll keep in touch every week and see where this takes us. All right. Have a wonderful week.